In a sleepy small town known for its quiet evenings and uneventful weekends, Mariners Lane stood as a relic of liveliness after dark. The bowling alley, established in the 50s, retained a charming yet eerie ambiance with its retro checkerboard floors and seats reminiscent of a bygone era. Despite its allure, Mariners Lanes was enveloped in a dark lore that was whispered about by locals, but known in detail by very few. One crisp autumn evening, a group of college friends, ignorant of the alley's somber history, chose this spot for a night of leisure. They arrived as the sun faded, casting eerie shadows through the alley's cracked front windows. The half-lit neon sign above the entrance buzzed, seemingly oscillating between a welcome and a warning. Inside, they approached the counter where an old man with a weathered face and sharp eyes handed them their shoes. His voice, gravelly and low, broke the background hum of falling pins and arcade beeps. "Lane 13, he declared, sliding over the worn leather shoes. The friends exchanged uneasy glances, aware of the number's unlucky reputation, but laughter soon eased their apprehension. The night began with the jovial clash of pins and the vibrant chatter typical of youth unburdened by local superstitions. However, as the evening deepened, an unsettling aura began to cloak their merriment. Each strike on Lane 13 was accompanied by a faint, eerie whisper emanating from the gutters. These whispers, indistinct yet chillingly clear, grew more persistent with every frame played. Julia, the most curious of the group, felt a growing unease. Compelled to uncover the source, she stooped near the ball return, her eyes scanning the shadowy depths beyond. What she glimpsed there halted her breath. A spectral assembly of bowlers, their forms translucent and still, their eyes empty voids of despair. They were the forgotten bowlers of Lane 13, their souls ensnared in an endless nocturnal tournament. Gasping, Julia recoiled from the sight, her voice trembling as she urged her friends to leave. But as they hastily gathered their belongings, the alley took on a life of its own. The clatter of invisible balls and the crash of unseen pins resonated through the building. The overhead lights flickered wildly, casting them intermittently into darkness. At the end of Lane 13, the ghostly team materialized, advancing with each thunderous strike. Their silent, grim expressions bore the weight of eternal torment. Fueled by terror, the group fled, their screams muffled by the spectral cacophony behind them. They didn't pause until they were safely outside, panting in the cool night air, the distant sounds of the phantom game still echoing in their minds. They drove away from Mariners Lanes, the haunting image of the ghostly bowlers etched into their memories. Back inside, the old man at the counter watched them disappear into the night. With a knowing glance towards Lane 13, he slowly reset the pins, his movements deliberate, readying the alley for the next group of unsuspecting players. As the door swung shut, the whispers quieted, the lanes once again waiting in patient silence for the next game to begin, under the flickering glow of the neon sign. Nestled in the heart of downtown, amid the glitz of new attractions, stood the dilapidated and largely forsaken Kingpin Alley. Its decaying facade and faded signage hinted at better days long past. Local lore whispered of a curse, born from a string of mysterious accidents in the 90s that left multiple people injured and one inexplicably missing, which gave the bowling alley a macabre mystique. Despite, or perhaps because of, its ominous reputation, it occasionally attracted thrill-seekers and urban explorers. On a dare and fueled by the bravado that comes with youth, a group of college students chose Kingpin Alley for their Halloween adventure. Intent on capturing something sensational for their online followers, they entered the alley armed only with their smartphones, using them as makeshift torches in the cavernous dark. Inside, Kingpin Alley was exactly as they'd imagined. Lanes coated in layers of dust, scoring machines entangled in cobwebs, and the air tainted with the ghost of stale beer and polish. The scene was set perfectly for their haunted night out. Giggling nervously, they opted to set up a single lane for a makeshift game. After clearing debris and coaxing the ancient machinery to life, which groaned and clattered in protest, they prepared to bowl. The first ball rolled smoothly down the lane, striking the pins with a satisfying crash. Yet, the pins remained down, and the scoreboard flickered ominously before displaying "Help me" in glitching, blood-red digits. Their laughter turned to unease, but curiosity nudged them to continue. The second roll brought true terror. The ball, halfway down the lane, halted as if snagged by an unseen hand. Then, impossibly, it rolled back toward them, stopping at their feet. A chill descended, and a dense, creeping fog emerged from the shadows behind the pins, enveloping the lanes in an ethereal white veil. From within the fog came the sound of a bowling ball striking pins, followed by a spectral cheer, a haunting replay of a game played in another era. The scoring monitor sprang to life again, cycling through scores from decades past with names that blurred and shifted unsettlingly. Overcome with fear, the students decided to flee, but their exit was thwarted as the entrance door slammed shut, locked by no visible means. Darkness engulfed them completely when the lights sputtered out, leaving only the eerie sound of distant bowling and ghostly cheers. Their smartphones, flickering erratically, cast brief flashes of light that revealed ghastly figures at the end of the lanes. Spectral players with hollow eyes and jerky, repetitive motions, as if forever replaying their final frames. In a desperate bid for escape, they shattered a window and clambered out, the sound of phantom applause ringing in their ears as they fled into the night. They vowed never to return to Kingpin Alley, and the building met its end under a wrecking ball the following year. Yet, whispers persist among those who walk past the now empty lot at night. They speak of faint sounds of bowling balls and crashing pins, and, on quiet nights, the soft, eerie ripple of applause, as if Kingpin Alley and its ghostly denizens refused to be silenced, lingering on in search of the next game to begin. In the dwindling town of Greywood, hidden at the edge of a forgotten industrial district, stood the dilapidated Sully's bowling alley. Once a beacon of community and cheer, it now existed as a remnant of brighter days, its facade cloaked in shadows and neglect. Sully's had long since become a locale of whispered tales and dark secrets, rumored to be haunted by the spirit of its original owner. On a particularly stormy night, a mix of skepticism and a quest for thrill led a group of high school friends to the deserted alley. Armed with nothing but flashlights and a camera, they breached the rusted doors, their lights slicing through layers of accumulated dust and cobwebs. Stepping inside Sully's was like traversing back through time. The score tables still bore sheets peppered with names and forgotten games. Bowling shoes were lined up as if awaiting their owners, and colorful balls sat racked in silent anticipation. The eerie stillness suggested a place paused mid-breath, frozen in anticipation of players long gone. The group's exploration led them to the heart of the alley, where Jenna, the de facto leader, noticed an odd, ethereal glow at the end of lane 13. Drawn by curiosity and the eerie beauty of the light, they approached, their footsteps echoing ominously in the cavernous space. To their astonishment, the source of the glow was an ancient pin setter that suddenly whirred to life, its mechanics groaning as it set the pins with spectral precision. Their eyes widened as a battered old ball rolled down the lane, as if pushed by unseen hands, striking the pins with a force that echoed like thunder through the hall. The scoring monitor flickered erratically before proudly displaying a perfect strike. The air around them dropped in temperature, and a disembodied laughter filled the room, sending shivers down their spines. As they turned to flee, the front door slammed shut with a force that reverberated through the alley. The laughter deepened, transforming into a chilling, disembodied voice that boomed, "Play with me!" The voice seemed to seep from the walls themselves, resonating with a deep malevolence. Trapped and terrified, the friends huddled together, their flashlights darting around as they sought another escape. Their beams settled on the lanes, where the ghostly figure of Old Man Sully appeared. His form was transparent and flickered under the fluorescent lights, his eyes empty voids that pierced through to their very souls. He pointed a withered finger towards the shoes and then the lanes, his intentions clear. Reluctantly, they each slipped on a pair of musty shoes and took turns rolling balls down the lanes. Each successful strike seemed to pacify the haunting presence, while every miss intensified the surrounding chill and the spectral laughter. They bowled through the night, each frame a battle against the ghostly cold. As the first light of dawn crept into the alley, Old Man Sully's apparition began to dissipate, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The front doors burst open with a sudden gust, as if releasing them from the night's ordeal. Exhausted and forever changed, the friends fled Sully's bowling alley. The morning sun did little to erase the cold dread that clung to them. They agreed, without words, to never speak of what transpired, leaving the mysteries of Old Man Sully and his haunted lanes to the silence of the coming dawn, ready for the next unsuspecting visitors or the next stormy night.